Retail sales associate is typically responsible for helping customers to make purchases and deals with any customer questions about products and services that business offers. Frequently, retail sales associate is responsible to increase store sales, helping customers to select products, introduce promotions and opportunities to the customers, doing cross-selling and suggesting selling to the customers, share product knowledge and expertise, increase sales by engaging with customers, responding to customer inquiries, and a lot of other things as needed. Before hiring the candidate, companies would like to make sure that the candidate can pass psychometric test and succeed on the job. Hi there, this is Vadim Michalenko from Online Training for Everyone. And in this video, I would like to help you get ready and pass interview and employment assessment test. Most common questions we see as part of employment assessment test are analytical and problem solving, patterns, charts and graphs, math and calculation questions, logical interpretation and reasoning questions, data interpretation and analysis questions, as well as a lot of others. Employment assessment test typically used on the jobs that require analytical and problem-solving skills. These types of tests typically very important for the candidates that may need to demonstrate business acumen skills and business decision-making skills in the future as part of their job. Let me share with you some best practices on how to get the most out of the video you're about to watch. You can watch this video as many times as you need to better understand the material. Consider watching from the beginning to end to make sure you didn't miss anything and have a good comprehension of the material. Practice questions and answers presented. Make sure you pause on the question and see if you can come up with the answer. And as usual, drop us a line and ask any questions and comments. Here's the sample question you might see on the test. Based on the data, determine which meal generates largest revenue for the establishment. And you have two data tables. You have day and meals sold, represented in the first table, and you have days Sunday through Saturday. You have 4 different meals: sausage and eggs, chicken salad, tuna sandwich, and burger. And you have daily sales for each one of these meals. You also have price per meal charged, and you have prices per meal for all different products. There are 4 choices. Each choice matches the meal. Do you think you know the answer? In this video, I will share with you sample questions we see on the test. I will have some questions for you to try, and I'll show you tips, tricks, and hacks on how to get ready and pass the test. If you like the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this, and we'll make sure to deliver it to you in the future. Also, please consider subscribing to Online Training for Everyone. With every video that we make, we help you get ready and get hired for your dream job. And now, let's go ahead and jump straight to the questions. Let's look at the tricky question, which involves understanding of some fundamentals and concepts of insurance. According to the policy, the insurance company pays 60% in the case of the theft and 50% in the case of the water damage. How much will a client pay to replace his cell phone worth $1,100 if it was stolen with a $50 deductible? We are presented with 4 different choices: $470, $550, $610, or $630. Do you think you know the answer, or do you know how to calculate it? Let's see if we can get to the correct answer together. To calculate the insurance payment, first we need to subtract the deductible, which is $50. After subtracting 50 from 1,110, we get to the amount $1,050. Insurance company pays 60% of this amount, which is calculated by $1,050 multiplied by 0.6, and the amount insurance company pays is $630. The client would pay the deductible in the amount of $50, and whatever is left after the insurance payment, which is $1,050 minus $630, and the amount client will pay is $470. So the correct answer is A, $470. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Let's look at the very tricky question, which is often used as part of advanced tests. There are 3 times as many black marbles in a bag as red marbles, with the 100 total. What would be the probability of taking black marble out of the bag and then choosing another black marble if the number of red marbles was doubled. And you have 5 different choices: 203 301th, 111th 310th, 3762th, 925th, or 3/5. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct solution together. Let's first calculate the original number of marbles. We have 100 total marbles, and 1/4 of them is red, and 3/4 of them is black, because there are 3 times as many blacks as there are red marbles. 1/4 of 100 is 25, and 3/4 of 100 is 75. And after we double red marbles, we will get 50 red marbles and 75 black marbles, with the total number of marbles would be 125. Let's calculate the probability of taking out a black marble for the first time. We do it by dividing 75 to 125. And after simplifying the fraction, we get to the value of 3/5, as well as for the fact that there is a fewer total number of marbles left in the bag. Based on the calculations that we do in the next step, we get to the value of 74 black marbles left in the bag out of 124 total marbles. To calculate the value of probability of taking out a black marble for the second time, we need to multiply the first probability of 3/5 by the probability of taking black marble for the second time, which would be an equivalent of the fraction 74 divided by 124. After we complete the initial calculations, we get to the value of 222 620th. After simplifying this value, we get to the final probability of 111 310th. So the correct choice here is choice B, 111 310th. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Let's look at the pattern question you might frequently see as part of the test. Determine the next number in the pattern, and you have a series of numbers with the last number missing: 4, 12, 36, 108, and then the missing number, which you need to determine. And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 310. Choice B, 314. Choice C, 320. And choice D, 324. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the correct solution together. As you might have figured, the formula to calculate the pattern is rather simple here. You calculate next number as previous number multiplied by 3. Let's calculate all numbers to make sure the pattern is correct. 4 is the first number in the pattern, and 4 multiplied by 3 is an equivalent of 12. 12 by 3 is 36. 36 by 3 is 108. 108 by 3 is 324, which is the final missing number in the pattern. So the correct solution here is choice D, 324. Hopefully you've got this question right. And now here's the question for you to try. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comments and I'll give you my feedback. Determine the next number in the sequence. And you have a sequence of numbers: 7, 13, 25, 49, 97, and then the next number might be A, 185, choice B, 187, choice C, 191, or choice D, 193. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comments. Thanks for participating. Let's look at the problem which you need to solve without the calculator. What is the sum of all the numbers that end on 0 or 5 from 1 to 100? And we have 4 different choices. Choice A, 100. Choice B, 105. Choice C, 1000. And choice D, 1050. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can solve this challenge together. Let's look at how this problem can be solved without the calculator. If you write down all the numbers that end on 0 or 5 from 1 to 100, you will realize that there are 20 numbers. Let's look at the sequence: 5, 10, 15, 20, and if you continue, you can just add 5 to get to the correct number. But we are mostly interested in the last 4 numbers, which would be 85, 90, 95, and 100. So the opposite numbers can be paired with the end result of 105. For example, 5 plus 100 is equal 105. 10 plus 95 equals 105. 15 plus 90, same thing, 105. So there are 10 pairs because there are a total of 20 numbers. When value for each pair equals 105 and you multiply by 10, which is the number of pairs, you will get to the end result of 1050. So the correct choice here is choice D, 1050. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to solve these types of questions in the test. Let's look at the exchange rate question you might frequently see on the test. Before going to Canada, Amy exchanged 300 euros for $580. Her trip got extended, so later she exchanged 440 euros, receiving $919.60. What is the percentage increase in the exchange rate? And you have 5 different choices: 5%, 7.2%, 8.1%, 145%, and then 16.2%. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the correct solution together. We need to solve this challenge in multiple steps. First step, we need to determine exchange rate as part of the first exchange. Then we will determine exchange rate for the second exchange. And after that, we will calculate the difference between the first exchange rate and then the second exchange rate. So to calculate the first exchange rate, we need to use the formula and divide euros to Canadian dollars. We have 500 euros and we received 300 Canadian dollars. So the exchange rate would be 580 divided by 300, which would be 193. Second exchange rate will be calculated in a similar way. We divide 919.6 euros to $440, and we will get the rate of 2.09. The percentage change of the exchange rate is 2.09 minus 1.93 is equivalent of 0.1566. And percentage increase then is calculated 0.1566 divided by 193 and multiplied by 100, which is an equivalent of 8.1%. So the correct answer is choice C, 8.1%. Hopefully you've got this question right. And now, here's the question for your practice. Vincent jogged at a rate of 6 miles per hour for 10 minutes and then walked at a rate of 3 miles per hour for 20 minutes. Which of the following gives the average rate in miles per hour at which he walked over this 30-minute span? Choice A, 4. Choice B, 5 miles per hour. Choice C, 6 miles per hour. Or choice 7, 7 miles per hour. If you know the answer, please post it in comments and I'll provide you with my feedback. Thanks for participating. Let's look at the pattern question, which is frequently used as part of employment assessment test. Determine the next number in the pattern. And you have series of numbers, starting with 0, 0, 1, 8, 27, 64, and then the missing number, for which you have 4 different choices: 85, 101, 115, and then 125. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the correct solution together. Let's first define the formula to calculate the next number, which is the most important thing in the pattern question. The next number will be represented as NN, where the previous number will be represented as PN. The next number will be calculated as cube of the number count. For example, 1 cube still equals to 1. 2 in the power of 3 would be equal 8. 3 in the power of 3 would be equal 27. 4 in the power of 3 would be equal 64. And 5 in the power of 3, which is the missing number, will be calculated as 125. So the correct solution is choice D, 125. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Let's look at the tricky question, which requires common sense and analytics to get solved. The box has 15 marbles of green, yellow, and orange color. There are 7 times more of green marbles than yellow. How many orange marbles does the box have? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 5. Choice B, 7. Choice C, 8. and choice D, 9. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the answer together. To solve this challenge, you need to make some assumptions. And the big assumption that we're going to be making is that the box can have more than one of yellow marbles. Because if box is to have 2, then there would be 14 of the green, which wouldn't leave any room for the orange marbles. So if there is only one yellow marble, then there are 7 green marbles, because there are 7 times more green marbles than yellow. And the number of orange marbles then calculated is 15, which is the total number of marbles, minus 1 yellow marble, minus 7 green marbles, would be equal 7 orange marbles. 7 orange plus 7 green plus 1 yellow would be total 15. So the correct answer here is choice B, 7. Hopefully you've got this question and understand how to solve these types of problems on the test. Let me share you smart ways to get prepared for the test. One of the smartest ways to prepare is to find out who your provider is that will be conducting an assessment test, and use outlines and sample questions from the provider. The providers might be Indeed.com, SkillCheck, IKM, Kenexa, SHL, and a lot of others. Once you know who the provider is, you can go to their website, find out sample questions, and practice with sample questions. You can also practice LinkedIn assessment test questions on the topic that you will be assessed. LinkedIn test is free. It gives you exposure to the sample questions. And also, you can get a badge that will enhance your profile for potential employers. You can also research the topic you're trying to prepare for online and download ebooks to get ready for the test. Hands-on experience is very important. You can find relevant training and follow along to do hands-on exercises using practice videos on the training. If you have a question or ran into an obstacle during your practice exercises, try posting questions in the comment sections of the video. Channel owners or members of the channel monitor the questions and respond to the inquiries. And last but not least, consider subscribing to relevant YouTube channels. I encourage you to consider subscribing to Online Training for Everyone. We have a great community of people helping each other to prepare and pass the test. Let's look at the simple, easy to understand, but at the same time very tricky question you might frequently see as part of employment assessment test. What is the sum of all numbers from 1 to 100? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 2050. Choice B, 3050. Choice C, 4050. And choice D, 5050. Obviously, you can use a calculator if it is allowed on the test and get to the correct answer, but you might run out of time. There is a better solution. Let's go and take a look how we can solve this challenge together. You will get to the correct solution much faster if you realize that there are 50 pairs of numbers, and the sum of the first and the last number of each pair would be an equivalent of 101. For example, the sum of the first number, which is 1, or the last number in the pattern, which is 100, is 101. But the same is true for all other pairs. 2 plus 99 is an equivalent of 101. Same is true for 3 plus 98, 4 plus 97, and etc. When you continue this logic, you realize that there are 50 pairs, and sum of values in each pair is 101. So the correct answer is 5050. Hope you've learned how to solve these types of challenges as part of employment assessment test. But if you're looking to get more questions, please make sure to check out my ebook in the description section of this video. Here's the question you might frequently get as part of employment assessment test. The sum of 2 fathers' age is 80. The sum of 2 sons' age is 40. The sum of the father's and the son's age is 60. How old are each of 3 mentioned people? And you have 3 groups of people. Choice A, 60-20-10. Choice B, 55-25-10. Choice C, 50-30-10. And choice D, 55, 25, and 15. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct answer together. Let's first understand the detailed scenario. We have a multi-generation family here, and the 3 people mentioned are a grandfather, who is also a father. We'll call him a G, for simplicity in the calculations. We also have a son who is also a father, and we have a son who is also a grandson. We'll call father an F and grandson as S. Another key consideration here is that each person is in calculations twice, which means if we add up pairs of values, we will get the twice of the summary age of all people. To calculate sum of all ages twice, we add all three pairs, which is 80 plus 40 plus 60, and we get to the value of 180. To get actual age, we need to divide 180 by 2, and the calculated value is 90, which means that sum of grandfather plus father plus grandson ages is 90. Now, as we have a sum age for all three people, we can calculate individual values because we already have ages for each pair. The age of grandson is 10, which is calculated as 90 minus 80. The age of father is 30, which is calculated as 90 minus 60. And the age of grandfather is 50, which is calculated as 90 minus 40. So the correct answer is C, 50, 30, and 10. It seems like a tricky problem, but together we can solve it. So hopefully you've got an idea how to solve these types of problems on the test. If you're looking for solutions to other problems you might frequently see on the test, please make sure to check out my ebook in the description of this video. And now, here's the question for you to try. Please make sure to post your answer in the comment section of this video. Here's the question. The math class had 29 enrolled students, while 34 students were enrolled into the English class. If 14 students were enrolled into both classes, how many are enrolled into only one of these classes? And you have four choices. Choice A, 15. Choice B, 20. Choice C, 35. And choice D, 63. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comment section of this video, and I or other experts on the channel will reply with the correct answer in the comments as well. Thanks for participating, and good luck testing your knowledge. Now let's look at the question which is frequently used as part of verbal reasoning, aptitude test, and psychometric tests. If you rearrange the letters CIF, AIP, C, you would have the name of and there are four choices: country, city, ocean, and river. So the tricky part of this question is that these are not the final answers. You can't rearrange this set of letters to get to the country. You can't rearrange it to get to the ocean letter or to any one of these letters. It is country name that would be a result of this rearrangement, or ocean name that would be, or city name or river name. So let's see if you can get this one correctly. Unfortunately, there is no easy way to prepare yourself for these types of questions. And the correct answer here is Pacific. So the answer is Pacific Ocean, right? But there's no way for you to know this. You probably heard the term of Pacific Ocean, but the best practice to answer these types of questions would be to go and start with the smallest one, and smallest one would be ocean. There are only very few oceans, and you're probably much better off starting and going and counting through all these oceans that are available. And one of those oceans would be Pacific Ocean. Because if you start to go with city, river, and country, there are too many countries, too many cities, and too many rivers, and the expectation is that you would not know all of this, and you can't answer. So that's the best way to come to these questions. Identify what is the smallest number of items that's on the list, and then loop through these items to identify the right one. So going back, is Pacific Ocean is the answer. And hopefully you will have the tips and tricks to get these types of questions correctly. Let's look at the tricky question you might frequently see as part of employment assessment test. The math class had 29 enrolled students, while 34 students were enrolled into the English class. If 14 students were enrolled into both classes, how many are enrolled in only one of the classes? And you have four different choices: 15, 20, 35, and 63. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct answer together. To solve this challenge, we need to understand how many students were enrolled into the math class only and then into the English class only. To calculate math-only students, we need to subtract 14 from 29, and we'll get the number of 15 students enrolled into the math class only. Number of only English students would be 20. When we subtract 14 from 24, this is exactly what we get, 20 students. So the answer would be the sum of 15 and 20, and 35 students are the students that only enrolled into one of the classes. So the correct answer is C. Let's recap. We have groups of students that are enrolled into both English and math classes. To solve this challenge, we need to find students that only enrolled into one particular class, and then add them up to get to the correct answer. Hopefully you've nailed this question. A lot of students ask me, what are the smartest ways to learn? Let's look at the different options available to you. Let me share with you some ways to learn new material that work for me. I typically use dedicated, uninterrupted chunks of time to read and practice new material. When my attention drifts, I try to take a break, and I typically do it every 25 to 30 minutes. I recommend that you download workbooks to practice the hands-on steps, which helps you reinforce the steps and better learn the material. When I try to learn something, I try to watch videos from start to finish in one sitting. I use different playback speed to make sure the material keeps me engaged. I also try to give myself time to absorb the content. And if something is not clear, I try to pause the video, and sometimes I even go back to review material more than once. Let's look at the budget question you might frequently see as part of employment assessment test. A student sets her budget for groceries at X dollars. If for each of N days she uses Z worth of groceries, which of the following expressions represents amount left in her budget? And you have four choices: X minus N, X minus Z, and X minus Z, and then X minus NZ. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct answer together. To solve this challenge, let's interpret the original formula so we can put the correct values into the formula. If a student sets her budget for groceries as X and then uses Z worth of groceries in N days, the original budget value would be X, and she uses N multiplied by Z. So the budgeted amount minus the actual expense represents the amount left in her budget. So the final formula would be X minus NZ. So the correct choice here is choice D, X minus NZ. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Let's look at the interesting question you might see as part of employment assessment test. A student can rent a violin from a music store for $15 a month for the first 3 months, and then $10 a month for each of the following months. How much would he pay for rent if he needs a violin for 9 months? And you have four choices: $90, $105, $120, and $135. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct solution together. To calculate correct values, we need to do two separate calculations. First, we need to calculate the value for the first 3 months, which would be an equivalent of the rent $15 per month multiplied by 3. The value would be 45. This is the total student will pay for the first 3 months. After first 3 months, student will have a discounted rent, $10 a month. So the value for the next 6 months would be $10 per month multiplied by 6, and then would be equivalent of 60. So the total cost of renting the violin for 9 months would be 45 plus 60, which would be an equivalent of $105. So the correct choice here is choice B. Hopefully you've nailed this question. And if you're looking for more similar questions that you see on employment assessment test, please make sure to check out my ebook in the description of this video. I'm sorry for the interruption, but I would like to ask you to participate in our daily assessment test challenge. I post new questions regularly as part of online training for everyone YouTube channel community tab. I give you opportunity to try and answer this question yourself. We post answers and explanations to the question in the comments next day. Please make sure to check it out and test your knowledge. And now let's continue and get you ready for the test. Let's look at the simple but at the same time tricky question which we frequently see on the test. The sum of ages of 4 family members, mom, dad, daughter, and son, is 70. What would be the sum of their ages together in 4 years? And we have 4 different choices. Choice A, 74. Choice B, 76. Choice C, 82. And choice D, 86. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can solve this challenge together. The easiest way to solve this challenge is to understand what are we being asked. Currently, total age of 4 people together is 70 years old. And you have to understand that in 4 years, each family member will be 4 years older. Since family has 4 members in total, age increase for the family will be 4 multiplied by 4 members multiplied by 4 years, which would be 16. So the total age of the family members in 4 years will be 70 plus 16 would be 86. So the correct choice here is choice D, 86. Hopefully you've nailed this question, and if you need more questions like this, similar to what you see on the test, please make sure to check out my ebook in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. I encourage you to check out our daily question challenge in the community section of this channel. I also recommend that you check downloads in the description section of this video. Please also check out resources page on our website, howtoanalyzedata.net/resources. If you like the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this. I would encourage you to share this video with other people that might be looking for the job. This will help them to get prepared and pass assessment test faster. Please consider subscribing and following this channel. We have a community of great people helping each other to get ready and pass the test. Please leave questions, comments, or suggestions in the comment section of this video. And all the best on your interview and assessment test. Thanks for watching.